Well, everyone, hello. And I'm sorry to say Victober is over. But I hope you had a good one. And I want to just do a little bit of a quick wrap up of Victober. And I also wanted to share with you 10 of my favorite Dickens novels, just real quick. I wanted to do this video during Victober. I just didn't have time. So I thought I would just do this as a way of saying farewell and see you next year. But first of all, what I've been reading for Victober, I did read Wuthering Heights. I think that's a book that's a book that is going to have a complicated relationship with me, I think. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time I've read it. I understood more of the characters, the plot, and things like that. But I'm just not sure I enjoyed it. It's a good book. It's just awful people. And I don't always enjoy reading about awful people. Shows like, in my opinion of these shows, like The Sopranos and gangster movies, where everyone's kind of different shades of being a bad guy, that doesn't always appeal to me. Yeah, so I don't know. But I'll keep thinking about it. It's definitely a worthwhile read. And as I said in my podcast recently, am I glad to have read it? And I am. I'm just not sure I enjoyed the experience. Well, see, that's not even true. I enjoyed reading it because I, made myself cozy. I listened to it on audiobook and followed along, um, read by a wonderful British actor who just made the story come to life for me. I would also have on in the background some thunderstorm, wind blowing ASMR type video that really set the mood. So it was very well, the experience was enjoyable, but the characters weren't. And that's all I can really say about it. Yeah, Emily Bronte, what a writer. She is incredible. I also reread Tale of Two Cities, read by Simon Callow. I've talked a lot about that book in the past. I'll talk about it more in the future. So I won't say more about that other than it's a beautiful book and it continues to be one of my favorite Dickens novels. Spoiler alert. And then I read Aurora Floyd by Mary Elizabeth Braddon. That one was a fun gothic sensational novel. There we go. It's a sensational novel. That was my choice for the prompt of reading a story that featured a female protagonist. A great one. Um, Braddon continues to be a delight to read, so I enjoyed every moment of that book. But the one that is just flat out the best book I've read in Victober this year, and probably one of my top favorite um, Victorian novels. I have to wait and see, and that is The Dead Secret. That was one of the choices that I had the viewers choose for me to read, and that was my popular choice. Everyone, you have remarkable taste. That book was dynamite, and I am loving it. So thank you for that. Uh, Overall, I had a good Victober. I didn't get everything read that I wanted to. Like I said, I didn't get to do all the videos I wanted to, but I enjoyed what I did, and I think at the end that's what matters. I'm so glad I started this channel just in time for Victober. That helped me find a lot of you folks, and we're starting to communicate online and in the comments and things, and I'm getting to know you all, and that's, for me, that's just the best thing ever. So I love that you all are joining in on my channel here. All right. I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about Dickens and these books of his that I love. So I've read all of his novels. I'm working on his short stories and some of his nonfiction right now. And his novels, they're just nothing like them. For me, I have an honorable mention I'll start off with, and that is A Christmas Carol. Some people say it's a novel, some people say it's a short story, some say it's a novella in between. So I'm going to keep that one off the list. I'm going to be talking about his novels, the big chunkers that he's known for. Other than to say that A Christmas Carol is probably my all-time favorite book ever written, ever in any book ever. Okay, I'm rambling now. That one just is in a class all of its own. So I'm just going to take that out of the running because by now you probably know I like A Christmas Carol. So here we go. Top 10 favorite Dickens novels. Coming in at number 10, and it's actually just dropped to that position this last year or two that I read it recently, and that is The Old Curiosity Shop. It's a story of little Nell and her grandfather and a harrowing journey that they take running from Quilp, I believe, who is chasing them. That's the plot in very small detail. When I first read this, I loved it. It was one of my all-time favorite Dickens. The famous or infamous scene with little Nell at the end. Well, I got to talk about spoilers here, so if you don't want a spoiler, just jump ahead about 30 seconds or so. But you've been warned, spoiler alert here. But the ending with little Nell's death, when I first read it, I cried. I mean, I cried manly tears. Reading it, and not everyone, and there's a lot of people that find it as kind of a joke. And I don't know, it moved me. But okay, I'm done with spoilers now, so you can come back. Yeah, I like the story, and the story that shows the struggle with addiction and poverty and things like that. It's a powerful story. It was a worthwhile read. I mean, let's be honest, even a bad Dickens is a pretty good book. Number 9 is Dombey and Son, and despite the title, it actually takes the main character is Florence Dombey. Florence's father loves his son, but not his daughter. So there's that. That's why it's in the title. He wants Paul to become his partner in business, and he doesn't think that Florence has much worth. And the novel explores that idea, and I think shows that she does indeed have great worth. That's a good one. That's coming in at number 9. Number 8 is Our Mutual Friend. That might come as a surprise to some of you because I know this one ranks pretty high on some of your list, but I've only read it once. And for me, Dickens needs like 2 or 3 readings before I really begin to understand the story and what kind of effect it will have on me. I wouldn't be surprised if this story goes up in future rereadings. But Our Mutual Friend, I love the opening scene of that story, and there's a beautiful quote in that story that says, "No one is useless in this world who lightens the burden of another." That's just a marvelous quote. For that and many reasons, Our Mutual Friend is one of my top favorite Dickens. That's in at number 8. Number 7. Although the more I've been sitting here thinking, maybe this is number 8 and Our Mutual Friend is number 7. I don't know. Is Bleak House. That one I like especially because of the very interesting things that Dickens does with the narration. So the main character Esther, the story is told from her first person perspective, but then when the narration shifts to other people, it's third person, and even the tenses, I believe, are different. It's really cool, but it's a great story too. That basically there's this long, protracted legal battle going on between Jarndyce and Jarndyce, and it's a good story, very good story. Coming in at number 6 is The Mystery of Edwin Drood. That is a book that is unfinished, and I'm still ticked off about that. I knew that it would be unfinished going in. It was my last Dickens book I read, and I want to know so desperately how he was going to end that. I think he was writing one of his best books ever, but because it doesn't end, it's a little bit lower on my list. But wow, the scenes about the addiction of opium, the mystery behind the whole what was going on. So many good things going on. But he wasn't able to finish it because, yeah, he died. If I ever had a time machine, I'm going back in time. First thing, I'm asking Dickens, how are you going to end the story? And can you please do it right now before you die? Number 5 is the Pickwick Papers. It's a comic novel. It's his first novel he wrote, and it tells as different stories. They're more like short stories that are interwoven to tell a larger book. Very episodic, and they're funny. They're hilarious. I love them. I love to read about Pickwick, and in fact, we have a parakeet that we called Pickwick. So he has made an impact in our family. Coming in at number 4 is Little Dorrit. There's a BBC miniseries on Little Dorrit that made me love this book even more. So maybe it's cheating having it up so high, but I love the story of Little Dorrit, and that BBC miniseries is worth the viewing. Number 3 is David Copperfield. That seems like these top 3 are really going to be basic. I just got to be honest. I don't think there'll be any surprises here. Yeah, David Copperfield, a very autobiographical novel of Dickens, tells one of the rags to riches kind of stories that was just a fantastic read, a great love story. Oh, there's so much I don't have time in the video to talk about. Number 2 is Great Expectations. That opening scene just gets me every time. When he's in the graveyard, he meets the escaped criminal. It's set at Christmas time at the beginning. It's all very bleak, and it's everything you think about when you think of Victorian novels. Again, a rags to riches story that is fantastic. And then finally coming in at number 1, surprising no one, it's A Tale of Two Cities. And I know I've mentioned that before. I've talked about that book ad nauseum. I'm going to do it again in the future. I think I'll probably have videos where I look at each one of these in a little more detail. And I might actually like to do some read-alongs with some of these videos, with some of these books. Those are my top 10 favorite Dickens novels. And I'd love to hear if you read Dickens, if you like Dickens, if you don't like Dickens, that's okay. I know he's not for everyone. But tell me about your experiences with him, and put those in the comments, and we'll keep the conversation going. Happy Victober, everyone. I hope you got done a lot of great reading and enjoyed what you read. And so until next time, happy reading. Take care.